All right. All right. Welcome back to the IY podcast. Today I got a new guest on today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Man, GLA double dollar sign east side. That's right, glasses Malone, one and
Hell,
only.
hell yeah. Let the people know what you do if they don't know.
Man, I tell really incredible stories.
Right.
And
I've noticed that through your music videos as well.
yeah, that's what I do. Right now the median is rap that I use. Hip hop is what I use. Well, rap is the median that I'm using right now to tell these stories. But I mean, it's just a temporary place where it's all the time. Like I'm just gonna expand to everything. You know what I mean? I'm gonna infect everything, like Smith from the Matrix.
Hell yeah. No, I like that, man. How did you get into, what was the first thing you got into? Rapping, right?
No, I was just in fifth grade. I used to write stories and sell them to my friends, like stories about Nintendo games and characters when I
Right.
was in school. So like I've been telling stories and writing stories since probably fourth or fifth grade. Um, Rap didn't really happen till probably 22, 21, 22, 23. That's when I kind of rap found me.
Right. Well, I guess, so you always had the niche for making stories and stuff, like where did that come from? Like where did that you pick that up from?
I don't know. I think that's just a natural thing. I don't
Right.
think I really remember people being storytellers around me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like it's just natural. I was really observant of a lot of things and able to explain what happened in a much more colorful way than most people.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, I guess on that your recent song, the Tupac one.
Mhm.
I guess that music video and the words and everything that you did in that song. It's a great story, and it was the perspective of what was his name?
Orlando,
Yeah,
David
yeah,
Lane Anderson.
yeah. I mean, that was just a very great visual of you really explained that very well. And like everything was to a T, you know what I mean? And it just seemed like some real shit, some regular shit, some movie, you know what I mean? And you made it into a little 5 minute movie, man. And that shit was very, very fucking impressive. Well,
Thank you, man. That mean a lot to me. That was one of the times that I start understanding how hip hop really works.
mhm.
Um, as being this, you ever watch Stranger Things?
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah, all three
Okay,
seasons.
so like it made me really understand hip hop as this thing like the upside down,
Hmm.
where you giving somebody else a look into a parallel universe that they never knew existed. Because from where they looking at, life is consistent. There's rules, it's forwards and backwards,
Yeah,
like the acrobat on a tightrope. But our life is like the flea, we could walk it any way. So to be able to give people that type of look into culture, morality, it was really important. You know what I'm saying? It was like dope as fuck. Hold that thought. Hold on. Somebody's at this door.
okay. You can just cut that shit out.
Yeah, my bad.
No, it's all good.
So to give people a look into morality or in the culture that way, you know what I'm saying? It was like that's what hip hop is all about.
All right. No, and like what I guess kind of inspired you to do that song.
Um so in 2012 I started really journeying down what hip hop looked like from, you know, the rap or record perspective.
Hmm.
And you start off with something simple as records, being able to communicate ideas to everybody, whether it's the music, whether it's the melody. And once you get a decent grasp on that, you go into what's like hip hop itself, cultural. Like, what are you supposed to present each person? Where you from? What's it supposed to look like? And thirdly, you get into hip hop as this really easy marketable thing.
Yeah.
And once I came through, it took me like 7 years to kind of get an understanding of all this stuff. And those ideas become the only thing you can do.
Right.
You know, from a gang cultural perspective, that's where I really hang my hat at. That's my specialty. It's where I have more information and knowledge in it than pretty much most people that existed in life. To tell a story, I need to be able to speak on it from cultural aspects, right? Morality is a huge part that's never talked about when it comes to gangsterism or gangster rap or gangbanging. So that became a major story that I can explain the morality of this culture that I've been a part of for now, over 20 years.
Yeah. No, and then that makes sense though. That you portrayed that and you made that song. It was meant to be made, even if it was years and years after the death. Because I seen other interviews about that, and you said people were tripping about that kind of shit, and like you were like you haven't been you weren't even rapping. When he died. What I mean?
Nah.
So
And
the,
and and I and I think people, again, we're in such this weird space,
hmm
and part of it is social media, which
yeah,
has really I don't want to say inflated, but it has really raised the value of social currency. So
hmm
people liking you and you having things that people like, you know what I mean, is at an all-time high. It's like gold. It's 2,000 an ounce. Places it never been before. The value of it.
yeah,
And you still got one person that's like, yeah, well, just because I love Tupac Shakur, you know what I'm saying, that don't mean I don't like the person that, was involved in certain situations. It
yeah,
don't mean none of that. It means that I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm not on neither person's side, but I definitely know what it's like to be both people. And I
yeah,
feel like Tupac's side was a place that we've talked about for years. I've heard
definitely,
people say it was a hater or this person hated him, and it's not true. It's really something simple as one person that come from a place that we come from where you overvalue reputation because it's your sole possession. You don't have a
yeah,
lot of shit. You don't own properties. You don't have a ton of cars. You don't have a lot of stuff. So the one thing you value is your reputation. So how people handle it and how they treat you becomes integral to how you even view the value of their life. And that's one of
right,
those situations where, you know, Pac doing something, doing something to somebody that couldn't afford to allow something to happen to them like
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it
Simple as
definitely
that.
makes sense, and they never had anybody convicted of any of that shit, you know what I mean? But like you said, this is all the events that happened beforehand before it. I mean, what else could it have been? You know what I mean? It's not
Well,
a coincidence, you know what I mean?
everybody knew what happened in real time, but
Yeah.
at that time, people just kept it G. Nobody, they knew it was an exchange between two people on an underground circuit of bullshit of two people committing crimes, assaulting one person, and criminals decide that they're not going to involve the police. They're going to handle it, themselves, however they decide to. And I respect all of the people involved for not, informing the police because, again, that's the oath you sign up for when you decide to do criminal activities. Even if you're a police, even crooked police don't tell. You know what I'm saying? Criminals just don't tell.
Yeah. And what's crazy? I mean, I think even in the song, or it might have been the interview you said, but they're all gone now. Everybody that was even, involved in that situation, man. So, I mean, there's no, even having those interviews or even talking to these people, or them even getting in trouble, you know what I mean? So it's just a crazy situation that they're all gone, but what do you really think about that? I guess, it is what it is. I mean, that's, what took place. I mean, there's no one can ever confirm that, now.
No, yeah, and that was really important. You know what I'm saying? Like even again, man, most people in that whole situation are in different places of their lives.
Right.
So that's just how it go. That's the problem with our culture. Our
Yeah.
culture is very much self-contained, and at times it gets a bit too primitive. That all the solutions are primitive. They
Yeah.
don't really do a great job of finding sophisticated, amicable solutions in these type of events. And
Yeah.
if there is a knock, that's what it is. It's like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. If
Yeah.
all of y'all 10 people jump me and disrespect me and publicly humiliate me, I'm going to do the greatest thing I could do to
Yeah.
earn you guys respect and everybody else respect to let you know that this ain't gonna ride.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. And what you put out there definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
But kind of back to getting backtracking, you were talking about, how you got into rap, and what was, I guess, your first stages, coming into the rap game. What brought you to rap?
So rap itself, right, is something I was doing to keep my brother out of trouble. He wanted to be a rapper.
For
That
real?
was his thing, and he convinced me to do it. Really, because I think he wanted me to pay for the studio time at that point.
Yeah.
He had just came home, and I was doing pretty good. So he wanted to start a rap group, and that's how I started rapping.
What was
How
the
I
name of it?
started taking rap professional and serious is playing music for Dr. Dre, which is a whole crazy story. I ended up
Damn.
playing music for Dr. Dre, and he told me like, "Yo, this is what you should be doing for a living."
For real. What was the
Straight up.
track that you had showed him?
So I had played him 6 out of 7 tracks. I had 7 tracks on the CD, and he pretty much skipped the first 5.
For real? He did just because the
Yeah.
name of him, or did he just listen
No,
to
he
him more?
played them, and they just. So now that I kind of understand records, I understand why he skipped them.
What
He
was
was
it?
asking for me to make a record, something that was easily contagious and irresistible.
Right.
So most execs will tell you you have about 5 or 10 seconds, before people change a record. You have to gain their interest right off the rip.
Yeah.
So the records I was making, they weren't those kind of records. They were good songs, but they weren't great records. And I got to a song specifically that's on White Lightning too, called Dinero. Oh, excuse me. It's on White Lightning, my first CD called Dinero, Money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the song. And he played it probably about 10 times in a row at like this beach party at his Malibu house and in front of everybody. And he just loved it. He thought it was so great. It was like, yo, I don't know what you're doing, but this is what you should be doing for a living. He owes me a
Damn.
beat because of that. And I still ain't got my beat. Last time I seen him, I've talked to him since, but last time I seen him, he was scolding me about Tupac Must Die, the song. So,
Oh yeah.
but it was all love. I respected it. You know what I mean? That's his counterpart. You know what I mean? This is somebody that he shared a lot of time, no matter through all the BS that people hear on records. It's like, this is his, this is his people. So I
Yeah.
let him feel how he felt, and I understood it, but it still felt triumphant because it's like hip hop is all about bringing people that's not in that reality into that reality. So I knew
Right.
that I dragged everybody in there kicking and screaming. They did not want to be in that car to imagine maybe you could have, a sympathetic view from that person's perspective. So it's like
Right.
you dragging all of these mainstream people into this situation and they kicking and screaming because they know they're going to see something that's going to make them be sympathetic in a situation that they don't want to be.
Yeah. And that's what I remember hearing on one of your interviews. They were even talking about feeling sympathy for Eric Holder. The guy that killed Nipsey. Something like said. There was some reason that they said that. I heard it in your interview, but like like what you're saying is though, like you there's always two sides to the story, I guess, or three. What I mean, there's yours, mine, and then the truth. What I mean. So like, it's just once you get to see someone, I think if everybody knew each other's stories and shit, I think everybody would get along a lot more. What I mean,
That's the
or be
true
more,
reality.
yeah, and be more
Yeah.
understanding and shit about everything. What I mean, that's why we all have our own perspectives on different shit and don't get along for certain reasons and shit. Because we all go through something different. But if everybody knew each other's stories, everybody would understand more. Because you watch movies and shit, and you're like, oh yeah, I want this guy to win because I know his story. What I mean? So fuck them other people, but you don't know their story as well. But then you do, and then you're like, damn, you know. But
Man, it's tough. And that was and Nip is like my class, and that's my guy.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So to actually I couldn't imagine what actually would I have to be shown, which truth what I actually would have to be shown. You know what I mean? Again, is the thing about LA culture, the street culture is nobody's above reproach. Like
yeah,
everybody can be convicted guilty. And it's what makes LA different. Some of the greatest men got took out by guys who you would not, care about or seem like they don't matter, but everybody values their life the same. We
yeah,
don't value your life more than I value mine. I don't care what you did. And it is a very unique thing versus like going to Houston where Jay Prince is like a god, you know what I mean? Or going to certain towns where certain men are like gods and they're godfathers of the town. That's not in Los Angeles. The two
Yeah.
guys who started, you know, the culture itself, Crippin' and Bloodin', the two guys that are responsible, one guy got killed at 26 years old, you know,
Yeah.
Raymond Washington. And, you know, he's probably, you know, the creator of what ended up being the most contagious culture, you know, that came from Black America. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And then Raymond Washington, you know, who was kind of, you know, one of the initiators of the West Side, you know, they told on him and he went to jail. And the guy who told on him, you know, a guy named Blackie, he stayed alive all the way into the 2000s and moved to Canada. So
Damn.
again, we have this really different program of, you know, like, yeah, no man's above the program. If people feel wronged by you, you know what I'm saying? It's a good chance they will, you know, tip the scales of justice.
Yeah. No,
Not in your favor though.
yeah, no, that makes sense. So I mean, after the Dr. Dre event, what came after that? Like when you started to take rap serious.
So I just kept working on music with my engineer Guido and my team, my boy D, a couple of my people. And I ran into my brother-in-law's best friend, a guy, rest in peace. He was from Ujima Village, a gang called Village Town Paru in Compton. Well, I don't know if they call that Compton. It might be South Central, but or LA. They might call it LA, but it's Village Town Paru. And he heard my music and thought it was great, thought it was dope. So he took me to meet a rapper that was coming up in Compton named 4 Cent from West Side
Oh yeah,
Paru.
yeah, yeah.
And I went to his house in their neighborhood and we were rapping with each other. And I was rapping. He was rapping all the Paru raps and I was rapping all the Crip raps. It didn't
Damn,
matter who was in the back. It didn't matter who was in Paru hood. It was like
that's
same thing.
cool.
You going for that respect. Like, okay, if you gonna do your raps, I'm gonna do my raps. And
Yeah,
we bonded that day real tough. And you know, within about a month, he introduced me to Big Face 100 and this new artist that was coming up in Compton at that time that was signed to Dr. Dre named The Game.
hell yeah, yeah. I seen
And
that.
that's how I've really pretty much linked with Black Wall Street. Face decided to manage me. G Ride co-managed me with my older brother Pooh. And the rest is kind of the history with Black Wall Street from that point.
So? I guess is that kind of how you got into being in Young Money and stuff? Is that where that kind of
Nah,
branched
so
off
that
from?
came a whole nother way. That probably is 2 to 3 years after that.
Oh, okay. So before we get to that, what came, between that time?
So I'm working on my first CD, and Game is putting the finishing touches on what ended up being probably, you know, one of the last great classics of the West Coast. It's probably Good Kid, Mad City, and
Oh yeah.
My Crazy Life in the documentary. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
He's
yeah.
finishing up the documentary, and I'm watching him kind of go to work and watching how the game is starting to form around him. I'm seeing what a buzz looks like. I'm starting to see what it should look like. And at that time, I'm finishing up White Lightning, my first offering. Um, he drops documentary. It sells like 500,000 roughly, I think, in the first week. It was something
Fuck
crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
That was really incredible. I go with him to autograph signings in different hoods, and I'm just seeing this shit like, wow. Um, he's setting up to go on tour. 30 days after release of documentary, I put out my first project, which is White Lightning.
Right.
Um, I'm starting to move the units, you know, through the streets, getting all of the music off. Game is setting to go on tour with Snoop. They're doing this tour together. And I was offered a position on the tour, not really to rap, but like to just be there. And I just chose to stay home and move my music, you know, start to really get it through the streets.
Right.
And I just stayed, you know, in that. During that time, I met who ended up becoming like a legend from the west side of Los Angeles, up and coming artist who had just released his first CD called Slauson Boy.
Yeah.
That ended up
Nipsey.
being Nipsey Hussle.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You were featured
Around that
on.
same time, it was a guy from my town
Uh-huh.
that was starting to really bubble hard. You know what I mean? Just like me. And he was signed to a legend I knew from the streets, a guy named Dude Dog. He had started his own record label called Top Dog Entertainment.
Hell yeah.
And it was a guy named J Rock who had just dropped his first CD.
Damn.
So all of us were starting to come together at that time. Like we were all starting to move our CDs at that time.
Yeah.
It took me about a good year. And by the end of the year, by the end of 2005, my CD was starting to really go crazy. It was erupting. Everybody was playing it. All three radio stations was playing one song a piece. And by the
Damn.
end of the year, I started having people wanting to sign me in a bidding war, and different people wanting to do business. And that lasted into 2006.
And wasn't that like Def Jam and what
So
was
that
the
was
other one?
Jay-Z.
Interscope.
Jay-Z was the president of Def Jam. He flew me to New York, and that was my first time meeting Jay, and he was just giving me so many props. I think he's told this story, but he just told me he thought I was like this great MC, and I never even pictured myself like that. I'm like, man, I'm a Sherm dealer, I'm a PCP dealer that can rap, and he was like, "Nah, you really, really good, man. You could be really, really special." And I remember being in his office at Def Jam at that time, and he was like, this is Jay-Z. Like I've been listening to Jay-Z since high school. He
Right.
said, I'm
Yeah.
selling drugs playing Jay-Z music. So it was a really different connection, like between him, Scarface, and probably Snoop. There were like really strong connections of how I was living and what they were talking about at those times.
Yeah.
It was different. Like Ice Cube, I look up to Ice Cube more as a rapper. I was a kid still, but those guys raised me, or what they were talking about was the things I was doing. So if it was Scarface, talking about healing from all of the violence and trying to get through it, I never seen a man die. Or I seen a
Yeah.
man
I love
die,
that one.
shooting somebody and getting through it. Jay-Z talking about selling drugs every day. Snoop talking about going to parties and still on being on Crenshaw. I'm doing that every day. So
Yeah.
that connection was crazy. But meeting Jay-Z and being in his office, you know what I mean, and him like giving me compliments was like
What
a
the fuck?
pinnacle of like my career to me at that point, almost to my life. And
Yeah.
I remember him wanting me to freestyle, like he wanted me to rap, and I couldn't rap because I was so like fucked up and so nervous. Like
I don't
yo, this
blame
nigga
you.
wants me to rap, and this is fucking Jay-Z. So that was really dope. You know what I'm saying? I never
Yeah.
forgot that neither. And my boy, shout out to D Brown, like he was rapping my lines in the song because he could tell like his favorite guy was Nas. He knew Jay was my guy. So
Yeah.
he wasn't even tripping, but I'm bugging out. So it was dope. I
So
remember that.
so those ones did you turn down for Def Jam and Interscope?
So I turned down Def Jam, I turned down Interscope, I turned down Capitol, I turned down Atlantic, I turned down Warner.
Damn. What
Yeah.
was the reason for all that?
It was just money at the time. I
Yeah.
really was ignorant. I had no idea. I thought it was all money, and the
Mhm.
reality was, if I could do it again, I wouldn't sign with Def Jam per se, because I think even looking at that time where Def Jam was going, if it wasn't quite Rockefeller that had this staff of productions. Like Rockefeller had, a staff of producers. You had Kanye at the time. You had, Just Blaze. So that's different signing that deal.
Yeah.
Def Jam is more of a huge label, so you really still got to do your own work or get an A&R.
Mhm.
And the same could be said for the rest of it. Like the person who needed to sign me at that time was probably nobody. Honestly, I don't think I was ready for a record deal.
Yeah.
I
How
would have needed to
come?
be for that to work back then. I would have needed to be around like who could make that work? Swiss Beats.
Yeah, he's dope.
Um, who else could make it work? It wasn't that many guys who could make it work. You would have needed to been able to produce and understand records to make hooks for it to work for me.
Yeah.
Because I
So
didn't
then you
understand shit about hooks and I didn't understand shit about records or beats. So I would
what
have
was your
needed some really incredible, you know, producer, hook writer guy. You know what I mean? Maybe
right.
JD. JD could have worked with JD that early in my career. It could have worked with Swiss. It could have worked with Pharrell possibly. I
Yeah.
would have needed somebody of that caliber of songwriter, record writer.
Yeah, because I mean, you can just go, 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 and like write a story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like you need someone to kind of
turn it
edit
into a
it,
record.
or yeah, turn it to a record. Yeah, basically like that. And I feel that, because I could do the same shit like that, but I just I fucking, you always need someone to edit it, go through it, and make it into something even more
Man,
special.
I always look at what Swiss Beats was able to do for Cassidy. That's
Right.
incredible. JD, Puff, Puff in his prime was a different monster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think on the West, it was different. We didn't really, Dre had a camp. So if Dre didn't have the camp around, it's different. Just me and Dr. Dre, it wouldn't have worked. I mean,
Yeah,
because
you need the whole
he was
team.
gonna look for me to do it. And I'm like, nigga, I don't, I didn't know that I didn't know at that time.
Yeah.
Game shit worked really well because he had Fifth came in, 50 Cent came in and completed the
Hmm.
parts that Game didn't, understand how to do it. So
Yeah. Speaking of game, you guys just came out with that new song, right? Or a little bit ago, Gangster Boogie, right, with Corrupt.
uh,
I really like that one, dude. That one was dope as fuck.
man, that was a layup. That was an easy one, man. And Game, I owe him a lot. I owe his older brother the most. G Rod, I owe G Rod a lot, but I owe Game a lot, man, because
Yeah.
every man, we could always complain. We could always say, oh, we wish this would have happened, or somebody could have did this. But when it come down to it, somebody giving you anything, especially in LA, is way more than they have to give you.
Yeah.
So he gave me so much, and man, it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? It was the beginning of changing my life for sure.
Right. And so, as you were saying though, like, so you were making records and songs with him and Four Cent or Four Bent, right? And basically after that, I guess what was, you came out with pushing your record,
White
and you were
Lightning. Yeah.
with Nipsey and J Rock. So what happened after that? Like you were. What, I guess before we get into that, what was the process of you pushing your records? Like, how did you get that out there like that? What were you doing for promotion?
So the record was really, really good because of my engineer and producer at the time,
Hmm.
cat named Guido the Nose. Guido,
Okay.
GLE. Um, it was just his time.
All right.
He had he had been around the business for so long. He was really great friends with Rhythm D at the time. He had been DJing for a while. It was just his time, and I happened to be the quality rapper to rap over it, but he
Yeah.
pretty much laid the most of the ideas out that matter. Some of them I brought. De Niro I brought. I bought that from St. Denson, same dude who did Get High for Styles. Um, I brought a couple ideas,
Hmm.
but he laid out the whole. He knew what it's supposed to look like. He knew what it was supposed to sound like at that time. So
Yeah.
I pretty much credit him and Big Face 100, who A&R'd the idea with the success of the music itself. The marketing plan is definitely me. I was looking up. I had access to SoundScan information of Snoop Dogg, Exhibit at that time, Dr. Dre. I knew what they were selling in Los Angeles. I knew what
Yeah.
they were selling on the West Coast. SoundScan is dope. It breaks down what everybody's selling in different regions, different states and cities.
All right.
So I realized that if I provided 10% of that to the communities that those guys were selling in, that eventually it would click. So I just, those guys are selling 30 to 300 to 500,000
Oh
CDs
yeah.
on the West Coast alone. And
Yeah.
I knew I could make the travel to get music from Washington all the way down to Arizona. That wasn't crazy. And so I just had to figure out how to press up 30 to 40,000 CDs.
Right.
Um, a real good friend of mine to this day, his name is Rob. He had a company called Menuet. And we made a deal to where they sponsored my first CD. And they paid for the pressing of 35,000 of the CDs or 40,000. So
Damn.
once I had that, it was a matter of just taking my street reputation, my connections in all of the communities in LA, building a team. I had a guy named Show Off that was really dope. My boy Lee, KP, them my guys in the IE at the time. They moving all the CDs down there. I met some guys in San Diego. Me and my crew was doing all of the streets of Los Angeles. I got with some dope people in the Bay. A couple, my partner Mike from Lime Hood, a Paru gang in Compton. Me and his son from the same neighborhood. He took my CDs up to Washington and was moving
Damn.
them through there. We was able to move them through Oregon. We went to Nevada, was moving them ourselves. Arizona moved them ourselves. Took us a whole year, but
Damn.
it was exactly what it should be, and it impacted the way I thought it would.
So were you just like out on the street trying to sell them, or were you inside
Straight
the?
up, yeah.
Damn.
Like
Everybody was out there pushing that.
well, so like my life was in the street. So I'm at the low riding event. I'm on Crenshaw. If I'm
Yeah,
at the street races, whatever I would do, I would just go move CDs at certain concerts. I would go
that's
to
fucking
certain
dope.
hoods. I went to more hood parties, more
Yeah,
neighborhoods than anything, like more gang areas. Like I might go through the 60s out running to Nipsey and I'm going through all the spots where I know they go to. So if
yeah.
I'm not running into them, I'm dropping them off at their liquor stores.
Damn.
That was a big thing. I was going to so many different liquor stores and swap meets and having them move them to the point where I
Yeah,
was giving them to them at first, and they didn't know what to think because I couldn't sell them to them. They like, who are you? To
yeah.
6 months in, they're buying them from me. They like, yo, I'll give you $3 a piece or $4 a piece.
Damn,
So
that's fucking dope, man. That's a
yeah,
really good process, man. I always love to hear that the process, especially in the beginning, because I mean, look at all that work you put in for a whole fucking year just to get that whole album out there, man.
yeah,
That's some hard work, man. That's dope. It's had to take a lot of dedication to keep doing that, and that's
yeah,
a good idea, taking it to all the events and shit you go to. You know what I mean?
yeah, man. It was a journey, man. But really, to me, it was just like selling Sherm, man. It was the same mentality of moving drugs. You know what I'm saying? It was all the same shit.
Yeah. So I mean, you already had your, experience.
Experience, yeah. I was prepared for it.
Yeah. No, and I like that you brought up, that you did it with J Rock or Nipsey, around that era. They were doing the same thing, trying to get it out. And, you had to, quite a few songs. I think the very earliest one you had with J Rock was with Snoop Dogg. Damn it, what's it called?
Oh,
For
before
like
it all
13
ends.
years ago. Yeah, yeah, that one. There it is. Before it
Before it
all
all
ends,
ends.
and that,
Produced by the Chromatics, my boy Metro.
yeah,
One of
dude.
my niggas. So me and
Yeah,
J Rock had so much shit before that. Like we had a lot of music.
damn.
Um, so around that time, so right, Bishop Lamont, Maestro, we all a part of the same clique. We kind of starting to move together.
Yeah.
Right. I'm watching J Rock, my boy Top Dog, Dudolph from Bonner to form his team. He got J Rock. He just got this little kid that's still in high school. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? And this little kid happened to be one of my best friends, nephew. And I remember meeting him. He's like, yeah, my name K Dot. I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
what's up, homie? You know what I mean? So watching him come to develop and come to pass. It was a guy out of Carson at that time starting to really make noise. From 190 named Rocket. It's a guy out of Altadena. And it was just like a movement of people just rising up. The funniest part is in 2006, so I'm starting to really, I'm starting to really hit with everything. And it's working out. And I remember my boy Shaq, his name is Wink, but we all call him Shaq from Westside Pyru. He was like, hey man, I want you to work with my boy, man. And I always fancied myself as that nigga who really tried to look out for other street niggas because I know what I went through. So I want to look out for them. And I knew we had at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, well, I'll come over there. He's like, yeah, you just go to my hood. He live on Dern. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna come meet you over there. So he texts me the address where he was at. So I go over there where he was at. I jump out and he got this little kind of shorter dude with him, cool looking dude. He's like, yeah, what's up, man? My name Problem. Yeah, man, I'm glasses, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so
Damn.
our whole crew, all of the people I knew, that's how I formed.
Yeah. That's
And I've been
cool as
working with
fuck.
them, all of those guys from that point on. You know what I mean? I always embraced all the movement.
Yeah. Damn, dude. That's fucking dope. I mean, I like that you brought up all them people, all them names, coming up, and how you met them. With Kendrick Lamar, when you met him, I know you have that one song with him, Thuggin', and I really like that. And I'll
I
admit
got a
that was,
lot of songs with Dot. I have
I'll
a
admit
lot of
that,
songs with Dot, a lot of songs with Nip, just stuff
yeah,
that I didn't know enough about records. So now I wouldn't even put them out because they weren't great records. They was cool songs or cool things we did, but it wasn't great records. But me
I'm
and
sure
Dot
the
got
fans
stuff
would
that
love to
date
hear
back
that.
probably to 2007, 8, 9.
Shit,
Yeah.
damn. Is the only one that's out is Thuggin', right?
Thuggin is out and it's one on a mixtape I put out called 2010.
Okay.
And
Well,
it was
the one,
J Rock did a freestyle. I think it's over. I forgot what beat it was over. It might have been nothing but a G thing or something. Man. K Dot is like this fresh kid that's just coming on there rapping. So it was dope. Sometimes I go
No,
back and listen, like, wow,
yeah, to where it got to now. I
that's
mean,
crazy.
what I was gonna say though is, "Thuggin" was the first song that I've ever heard by you because when I was, back in high school and shit, I was just looking up all Kendrick Lamar songs, and I was just like, "Oh shit, look at this one," and I played yours, and I was just like, I listened to it, boom, boom, I was like, "Damn, dude, this fucking song is hard as fuck," and then what really caught my attention is, you say, in your verse, I'm a fucking thug. I need a fucking hug, and then you talk about, digging up your mom and having her give you one. I was like, that caught my attention. Like, damn, who's this guy? Let me check him out. Like, cause I never heard nothing like that. You know what I mean? And like, you could tell that you was a real street dude and like a real fucking, just from the flow and the song and everything that went along with it. I was like, damn, dude, this guy's the shit. And that's when I, just started looking up you, and I mean, it just took just a little line like that to catch my attention. I'm sure a lot of other people too, and that just like tuned me into because you went from having the relationship with Kendrick Lamar, and then that song that came out, I was just like, damn, dude,
Yeah.
that's some hardcore shit.
To watch him, man, Thuggin was dope too. And it's funny because I always say that idea was for Scarface. It wasn't even for Dot. It wasn't for Kendrick.
Damn,
We was talking about something else, and I sent him 2 songs. I wanted him to do the other song. He ended up doing that song. But
yeah,
that's my boy, man. And it still is always a blessing because of where he's positioned in hip hop at this point. He's literally the
yeah,
elite of all elites. So um, but watching that whole team form, I remember when Schoolboy Q came to their studio.
really. How
Remember
was
the first
that?
time they met Schoolboy Q?
Well,
He
how
was
was
a
that
part of a
like?
clique with Tiger and a really good dude named Gator,
Damn.
GD. And then all his music was like like a joint venture with GED and Top Dog. I remember when Ab Soul. So again, it's one of those things where like I've watched so much history happen,
Yeah,
whether it's Nip, whether it's what's funny is I didn't even meet Dom and I watched his stuff and it was right there. And I was like, damn,
yeah,
who is this kid?
yeah. And you just had a song with him back in like 2018, right? That one was
And
dope as
Dom
shit.
is same guy, man, where it's like he's not quite my class, they're a little after, but
Yeah,
to watch YG, I remember all the energy YG and Ty Dolla $ign and Mustard, they were creating.
yeah,
Like I saw that we had been in the game already 4 years, 3 years professionally, 4 years. And now you're starting to watch those guys starting to kick up dust and they starting to own all of the clubs in Los Angeles. Like they have the best songs in the club. You
yeah,
know, Ty Dolla $ign had gave Joe Moses. Joe Moses is starting to make noise. So he has this great record with Ty Dolla $ign, and then YG has Tooted and Booted. And then Mustard is like the DJ you starting to hear about. So
yeah,
it's been a journey watching the West Coast, try to evolve itself.
yeah. And you were a part of a lot of these people with a lot of making their songs and shit with them. I mean, you've got to work with the new generation and the old school generation too. So you're right in the middle. I mean, so you got to mix with like everybody, dude, and like that's pretty fucking cool. Where did like I guess all the old school connections come from? With like Mac 10. I mean, you did an album with
Well,
him.
so Mac 10 is how I got my deal at Cash Money Records.
Oh
Mac 10
shit.
was the guy who signed me and took me to Birdman. Was like, yo, you need to do something with him. And Birdman was like, yo, this dude is fire. That's how I did my deal. So my deal was with Mac 10 and Cash Money.
Damn.
I pretty much knew all of those guys, obviously, growing up. If you look at the Cali is Active video, I think that's in 2004 or 5. I'm in the
Yeah.
video and I'm
Really?
not really looking up because I'm so like enamored, like, damn, all of these rappers, like these, all the niggas, this all my childhood. I mean, this
Yeah.
is Too Short, this is Ice Cube, this is what the
DJ
fuck? You know what
Quick,
I mean? This is
everybody.
crazy. So I'm in the video, but I don't really show my face because I'm so like I'm trying to keep it together. Like, like damn, look at these niggas, cuz these niggas is all here. So I met them before and we started a movement because I felt like they weren't as hands-on with the youth as I would have liked them to be. And who the fuck am I? But I felt like it was really important to preserve the legacy of them and our music for that generation to be more hands-on with my generation and the next.
Yeah.
So it was a long time where it was a stalemate where we wouldn't even work with each other. You know what I
Really?
mean? Me and the legends wouldn't work with each other.
Really?
And soon as the opportunity start presenting itself, I mean, I'm do everything. So I
Yeah.
got the exhibit, I got Ice T, I got Snoop. Snoop was one of the earliest ones. Trying to get stuff going with Cube, trying to get the stuff going with Quick. It's all work. You got to keep trying. You got to really put your ego to the side and
Yeah.
keep working. I mean, I got stuff with 40. I got stuff with Short. I got stuff with Richie Rich. I got stuff with all of the legends, but the ones I haven't, I got to keep working on it till I get it done.
Yeah. That's true, man. But I think you've really done a really good job with keeping their music alive by sampling it, and even having them feature on the fucking track, like Ice T 6 in the morning, you had him fucking free or not freestyle, but rapping on that shit with Snoop Dogg and shit. Who was the other one? Who? Oh, Ty Dolla Sign was on it too. Yeah, he was
I
the
was
chorus.
putting
Yeah,
Warren
and
G. Warren G allowed me to use the sample to make my biggest record, which is that good.
that good.
And
Yeah,
then
that's
being
what I was
able to
gonna
loop
ask
back
about.
around and put him on his sample, that was fresh. It was important to me too, because Warren and Corrupt have been really two incredible, you know, when it comes to this West Coast thing, to me, they've done a great job of making me feel like, yo, if we can, we'll help you. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
So to loop back around and do stuff with Corrupt is great. I've been on Daz for 2 years. Daz will read my message, he'll respond back, he won't. And I don't have an ego with him because like I spent so much time with him in Japan on my first tour in Japan, and I know he's a great dude. Everybody got their own life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you just have to stay consistent. You have to stay on everybody. You gotta
No.
stay on them, stay on them, stay on them, stay on them. So
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna give up till I get as much stuff done. I'm trying to do a song with Tone Loc.
Damn, that'd be
You know
dope
what
as
I mean? I'm
fuck.
trying to really. I got a song with King T. You know what I'm saying?
Do
I'm
you?
I'm really trying to do. To me, it's like you. It's your rite to passage if you really want to take a shot at becoming a staple of hip hop.
Yeah. I mean, that can go with anything though, too. I think, like with me, personally, like reaching out to you and other people that I've done interviews with, you got to stay consistent and message everybody. And whoever messages back is going to be the one, like even when I messaged you today, I was just really trying to get the interview to go, no matter what it took, and I just fuck. Even when you're like, let's do it, this morning I was just like, all right, I'm gonna play this music, and hopefully he responds back and we keep,
Yeah,
going with it. You
man.
know what I
I
mean?
mean,
I was just like,
as an elder statesman, right? You have to be. You got to figure out how to make it work because sometimes it is a bit. I know what it's like because I know what it's like for me. So it's tough, you know what I mean? But you try to make it work for people because you need to be a part of, the next things, and you want to usher in the next era of hip hop and the next media and
yeah,
the next artist and the next everything. So it was important, and I try my best to stay grounded. Like it may
yeah,
take me a long time to go through my messages, but I try to stay grounded. I try not to let my head balloon up too big and
yeah.
float off the fucking globe.
Yeah, shit. I think I even sent that message, probably even like 3 weeks ago or some shit. And I was just like,
I
well,
didn't see it, and it's funny. I decided to go through all of my messages from people, that I'm not following or I don't know, and let me go through all of them until I delete all of them. And it was a lot, so I'm like, okay, hidden again, man. It's tough, but we here now, and I'm grateful. You know what I mean? It's simple as that.
yeah, same here, man. But back to I guess your whole story about how you got into rap. When did what came after Cash Money? Because that's when you started
So
doing
Cash
your own
Money
thing,
was
right?
pretty much my whole professional career as far as like being signed to a major label, and it was a great experience. But again, I wasn't really prepared.
Yeah,
That could have worked if Manny Fresh was still there. If Manny Fresh was there, I might have had action. Because Manny Fresh is another one of those guys that produce and could do chorus, and so he could like round out stuff that you're not great at. He could round it out. That's what he
yeah,
did great. So it was great. Birdman tried his best. He spent millions of dollars, of $1 million+, man, hundreds of thousands at minimum, trying to break me as an artist. You know what I mean? Even though
damn,
to me, I don't wear jewelry, so I don't fit their mold. But he
yeah,
believed in my artistry and gave me the greatest shots possible. So I'm forever grateful. Like, I do something to somebody over Bird. Like, he's a really good dude. And I sat there pretty much working my ass off from 2007 to 2012. And I was like, yo, this ain't gonna work. Like, I need to figure. I'm missing something. It ain't even nothing nobody else is missing. I'm missing something. Let me go find what I'm missing. Feel me? Then we could talk about it later.
Damn. So then you ended up. Did you ended up? You did your own thing then. Right after that, you
Yeah,
started
like
your own label.
I asked Birdman to let me go from the label. My contract wasn't even up like professionally to 2016, but
Shit.
he allowed me to put out my own records. He didn't try to enforce them. Even when I had a record that was a hit, he didn't try to enforce it. He didn't like, oh, you need to give me that record. He was like, do your thing. You know what I mean? So all this sucker shit they be talking about with Stunner, I don't know where that's from. That nigga's
Yeah.
an awesome motherfucker. I mean, taught me a lot. I'm grateful. And same with Mac 10. Mac had the right ideas. He knew what it was. Again, it's one of those things that I was incomplete as an artist, and where I needed to be rounded out, it just wasn't around at that time. The game was changing,
Yeah.
and what
Always
people wasn't
changing.
keeping producers in house like that no more.
Yeah. Shit always changes. You know what I mean?
Even now, I fancy myself a much better record writer than ever before, and there's still times I need help with choruses where I like, yo, I was talking to Mike from Mike and Keys today, and I'm like, yo, you got
Oh, yeah.
somebody that can help me with this chorus? Like, I need some help with this hook. You know what I'm saying? So record writing ain't no joke, and you want everything to be a presentation. So
Yeah.
again, like, I see where I'm at now. This is 12, 13 years later. You know what I'm saying? Versus then, I didn't know shit. So I really didn't
Yeah.
have a chance to heal. I'm surprised I got that far.
Yeah. Well, at least you know your weaknesses and your strengths. You know, what I mean, you know when you need to have someone hit you up, or you need to hit someone up and find, hey, I need help with this chorus, I need help with this beat. You know, instead of just sitting there and fucking struggling and struggling. But like you said, we're always learning, we're always gaining knowledge and shit. You know, but it's better you recognize those things than not at all.
Mhm.
Um, One of the things I was going to say though, like you definitely are, really good at making little movies or little mini clips with your music videos and storytelling. One was what was it? It was one of your early ones. What the hell was it? I was going to say. I got it written down on here. Oh, everybody got to go. That home
Mhm.
invasion. That one was really really detailed and really vivid. You know what I mean? And that. What I guess what was the meaning behind that song?
So the project that was on this project, me and Mac 10, a collab album we did called Mac and Malone, Money Music.
Yeah.
The idea was really a part of a version of the album that never came out. So it became this standalone idea where it
Hmm.
just made me, it looked crazy. Like I'm just kidnapping and killing some kids and shit. But that's really not how that record came about. Again, as a storyteller, like I might tell an album over a story. Like I might tell a
Yeah.
story over the length of an album. And that particular album, I'm gonna release it as a deluxe version for people.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was me and Mac had sold so much drugs. We had moved all kind of drugs on the street, so many, so much drugs, so much for the cartel that they made us a part as the first black members. And the album rolled in acts. It's like 15, 16 songs. So it's like act one is like the celebration.
Yeah.
Act two is back to business. Act three is, it's these different acts. In act three, it's a story specifically that's on the deluxe version. It's a story on the deluxe version that there's a guy that I'm trying to collect a debt from, and he's insulting me and not paying me the fucking money.
Right.
And like when I'm trying, he promises he's gonna pay on a song called Apply Pressure. And I go to his house and he has moved, like he's not around. Like he leaves I call his phone, he leaves a message antagonizing me, like, like, yeah, you ain't gonna never see me. I ain't giving y'all shit. Fuck y'all. And so then the last song on the deluxe version is Everybody Gotta Go.
And that's that
I
one.
finally caught up with the dude.
Yeah. And
And then
that's
the
what that
cartel
was.
boss told me leave no witnesses. So again, when Mac got the album, he thought the story was a bit too crazy or corny or he thought it was crazy. It's dope. People gonna love it when they hear it. I
Yeah.
think that's one of the few times I think he got it wrong. He should have did that. But so when you hear that particular thing and you see it, it's like, oh, it makes sense. It ain't just like, oh, some dude he just walking the house like that. It's not a home invasion. It's literally like, yo, you stole some money from us and you've been talking bad to us, and now the cartel bosses want me to take everybody out that can go to court.
Yeah. That's
So again,
fucking
it's one of those things that as a storyteller, you hear this micro story, one song, but it's a macro story overall that forced me into that position.
yeah, no, I see what you mean. No, that I guess that kind of cleared it up, but I mean, still, like I said, it's a really good, mini
Yeah,
movie
yeah,
or like a
no, yeah.
story. You know what I mean? I
If you
mean,
if you hear it, you can hear me referencing this person has kind of been ducking and avoiding
yeah,
handling their debt and antagonizing me and my crew about it. But again,
yeah,
if you was able to see apply pressure and hear that video first, you'd be like, oh, I'm glad it would change your perspective. You'd be like, well, I'm glad they caught that punk motherfucker. You'll feel bad for the little girl that got set on fire, but you would understand, like, oh yeah, he had that shit coming. You know what I'm saying?
oh fuck, yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, no, I see what you mean. Though, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's just like a little movie. You know what I mean? It ain't you wouldn't just fucking set people on fire. You know what I mean?
Man, it's tough. It's
What
a
is
tough job, man, being an enforcer for the cartel.
yeah, no
And
shit.
that's the whole point. So again, versus Mac, rearranging and taking off the skits and then making it first. It's like, oh, this nigga is. And what's funny is Mac loved that song. Mac 10 just thought that song was so great. He was like, yo, this
Yeah.
fire. And then he saw the video, he was like, yo, you can't put this out. I'm like, cuz what do you mean? Like you heard the song? No, but seeing it again is my storytelling. Like you hear
Yeah,
it, it's cool because I can make it sound cool. But when you see it, you're reminded, like, oh, this nigga's on some shit. The story
yeah,
goes to another level. Tupac Must Die. If you hear that song, the record, it's like, okay, damn, that's crazy. You could kind of fuck with it. But when you actually see it, it's like, yo, this is what, you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's
No,
one of those, it's tough.
no, I get what you was trying, what you did, what you was putting out there. But like you said, there's always people that are gonna say some shit or not understand it. You know what I
What
mean?
good
But
hip hop does. Great hip hop makes comfortable people feel uncomfortable.
yeah, no,
Makes you
exactly.
have conversations that you don't really want to have because you don't we need our deities above flaw. We need our deities above, like, they can't do nothing wrong. Like we always have to make every excuse versus understanding that everybody's a human being and sometimes we all get ourselves in a little too far and it don't work out all the time.
No, I don't. And some people have learned that in real life. You know what I mean? That's for damn sure. My favorite song off of your album, the Glass House 2, Life Ain't Nothing. Life Ain't Nothing, but was with Ty Dollar Sign and Baby Bash. That one,
Man,
The
that
Long Way.
song is so Long Way is doing 30,000 streams a month.
Damn.
Like somehow, man, like the whole Polynesian culture has took that song and made it their song. Like
Really?
there's TikToks, thousands of TikToks of couples together, and it's like the strangest thing ever. You know what I'm saying? Literally, I just was talking to my manager about that last week, where I'm planning to go to New Zealand or Australia and shoot the video over there,
That'd be
like,
dope.
and make it about them and put them in it and meet a Polynesian woman and make the story there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's their record.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I,
it's that great records, man. It's weird.
Yeah, and that's what's nice about, having this fucking, social media and, all the platforms that we have now is that you can just put that out there, drop it, and then everybody in the world can fuck with it. That's so cool.
Discovery is a lot different with social media. People can
Yeah.
discover things that are 7 years old and make them like they brand new.
Yeah, because that song came out like 10 years ago or not, maybe 7 years ago or something like that.
It came out 2016, so
Yeah.
yeah, roughly 5 years ago.
Yeah. No, and I really like that one. And I don't know, man. It just you can definitely tell like that was like Ty Dollar Sign, just a little bit younger, from what he is now. That's when I started listening to him, back in high school and shit. And I didn't even know that song existed, until today. I was like, holy shit. This
He's
song is
such a
dope as
monster.
fuck.
He's so
Yeah,
fucking dope. That
yeah, dude.
motherfucker's so amazing.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, he definitely can fucking wreck a damn course, dude. Because he did that one for you that good, and 6 in the morning, man. All
About
three of them.
5, 6. We
Damn.
we have a new song that hasn't came out that I got him to co-produce. He hasn't finished it yet, but it's called "What Would Nip Do?"
Oh shit. My bad. It kind of cut out a little bit. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's kind of cutting out a little bit. There it goes. I think we're good.
Okay, so we're working on a new song. He's producing, co-producing it with my boy EP.
Hmm.
It's called "What Would Nip Do?"
Oh hell yeah, that's fucking
So
gonna be dope.
it's dope.
Have you ever heard of Polyester the Saint?
It's one of my favorite guys, man. Like
Did you hear his?
culturally, like this super concentrated version of Los Angeles West culture. You know what I mean? Super dope.
Fuck yeah, dude. He came out with a song exactly like that. What would Nip do? Have you heard that one?
Nah. That sound fired. I need to listen to it.
Yeah, you should check that shit out because he has one too. I did an interview with him maybe a few months back, and I was like, damn, this shit's pretty cool, you know. But no, that.
I'm on his new project twice.
Oh, are you
You listen to the
twice? You
last
said
polyester album, I'm on there twice.
you said it's the last Polyester
The
album.
last project he just had put out,
Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm
damn,
on there twice. I'm on a couple songs.
hell yeah, dude, that shit's dope as fuck. But what was I saying? But back to that song, that was one of my favorite ones, and that whole album, is just another really good one as well. Like what I text you today about, the one that you just recently came. Well, I guess 2018, but that one, the 2018 one. I mean, damn, dude, all the skits, that you had in between, with like Corrupt, and then
Oh no,
the
that came out this year. That came out a couple months ago.
oh shit, I guess I must
So
have read it
what I
wrong
did
on Apple
was,
Music.
so that's the first Glass House.
Oh,
So the
okay,
first Glass House I put it out in 2012,
yeah,
but at that time streaming services weren't where they were now.
yeah,
So you put out a
okay,
mixtape, people can't hear it. So what I
yeah,
decided to do was I decided to update and revamp it, like reimagine the concept. So when you hear it, it goes into Glass House 2 that much better. So you hear Glass House 1, which is that project, and then you hear Glass House 2, you can hear the progression and the growth, whether
yeah.
MCing or production wise, even just storytelling.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like all your albums, I like how they have like the skits. Like there was the one with the guy, he had his girlfriend's phone or some shit, and then every 2 songs he'd be in there again. Oh man, come on, please answer. And shit. I was like, dude, this shit's funny as fuck. But like
That
that's how
shit
you
is
make it.
funny. My boy Lil G from Compton, one of my childhood friends.
How was that?
You got to use your people more, man. I got to remember to figure out to use all of my people more, not nobody else people. So he
Yeah, so
killed
you could
that.
put on. Yeah,
Killed
that shit was funny. You had texted me too that you were working on a new project. I mean, can you speak on that at all?
So the first single comes out January 17th. Um, it's a really, really great project. Um, it's its own thing. So it's different than the Glass Houses. You know what I'm saying? It's different, but man, it might be my most gangster rapish album. And it's probably
Oh
the least that I've talked about gangs on it. Yet it's probably the most gangster rap album I've ever released. It's probably,
well,
if I'm going to get canceled, you know what I mean? This could be one. It's a couple that's coming up that could get me canceled. This is one of those ones where it's like just the energy and the attitude is so, primitive West Coast, so late 80s, early 90s West. You know what I mean? Not the music, but the attitude of it. The the stingy with the fucks given. You know what I mean? Not giving a fuck about how people are going to feel is very much a rampant theme throughout that project.
damn, that sounds like
It's
it's gonna
really
be dope.
special.
When is
First
the?
single come out January 17th, 2022. That's a
Okay.
Monday. Um, it's gonna be dope.
Do you have any dates for the whole album?
It's really looking like March, April.
Yeah.
Um, so the first record drops January 17th. The second record drops in February. The single drops in March. Most likely maybe first week of April. So the project should be right around that time.
Yeah. Do you have any
But
features you can say?
um, really, I didn't even really need more. I really kind of been working with this one particular group, the LA Giants,
Oh, okay.
Player Hamstrings.
Damn. So you got a lot of
Um,
features with them on there?
and they going crazy on a lot of songs. Sugar Free is on the song that's coming out
Oh shit. Is
January
it?
17th, and it's some dope features. D Smoke is on there.
Damn. Then you say you have
Um,
one with King T coming out too?
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get him. That one's out already. That one's out already. Uh, um, White Dog, Mr. White Dog is on there. It's really different. It's very much reminiscent of like the death row period as far as how I went about making the project. I didn't
Oh,
really just go to the biggest people and make songs. It was people that I fucked with personally, or somebody like D Smoke, who we really got a different bond because we talk boxing and we finally got a song that fit both of our stuff.
yeah. Well, that'll be fucking dope, man. I'm excited for that shit, man. Because after I listened to all of that shit today, everything that I could find on Apple Music and YouTube, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm ready for to hear this new shit.
Man, I'm gonna bring all of my older music there, but I'm gonna revamp it with my knowledge of hip hop and records and marketing. So when you hear my whole catalog, when you take that journey again, come January 2023, and you take that journey through all of it, it's almost like I have a chance to rewrite my narrative. So I almost
Yeah.
feel like Marty McFly, man. Like I can go back in time and change how shit is gonna be because people now will hear my catalog moving forward after
Yeah.
2023. When they started 2005 and they're listening and they like, yo, how the fuck wasn't this guy Jay-Z? But
Right.
again, Jay-Z knew what Jay-Z knew in real time, so it was different.
Yeah. No, well, no, I feel it, man. Well, that's all I pretty much had for you, man. Unless you want to add anything else.
Man, let's reconvene um right after I drop the new album.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do this again and we'll go over it and I'll give you a lot of the secrets I was thinking about making certain ideas.
Okay, hell yeah, man. I'm absolutely down for it, man. I'll be
It's love,
definitely.
Adrian. It's all love, man. I will see you. I'll make sure I let you know what's going on, but I will see you like around that time that project come out and we'll do this again.
Hell yeah, man. I look forward to that shit for sure.
All right.
Hey, I'll text you too. If you want to get one of my hoodies and shit, well,
Sure. Yeah, I definitely.
I'll send you one. You
Yeah,
for
that's
free and
love.
shit, and just get you one and send it out to wherever the hell you want it. But just text me your size and all that shit that I need to know. But
I'm gonna text to you right now.
okay, for sure,
I
man. And
got
then
you.
so all you gotta do is just email that to me then.
Got
All right, for sure, man. Well, thank you. Appreciate it again, man. Thank you for your time.
you. Love, brother. Yes, sir.